There are two episodes in the history of Stargate that everybody hates. One of those episodes is included a monster that everyone wants to see again, the Cloverdale situation, where half the story is spent inside of a dream, where it's kind of it's not a ripoff of Christopher Judge's episode. Christopher Judge directed an episode once. It's not, and it's a problem, because if it were a ripoff, it kind of would have been better, because you don't really have anyone interacting a lot in the dream. There's no clear explanation about the dream. Like, is Chloe Armstrong, because of the dream, you realize Chloe Armstrong is kind of defined by her relationships, and other than that, there's basically nothing there. Like, she hasn't really lived, and there's nothing excessively special about her. So why is she dating this guy? Other than, these are the two hot people. Realistically. Sure, she's been turned into an alien, kind of, and she's getting super smart, but why, what is it about? This could have been such a great episode for the couple to just have a date or something, and then all of the weird wedding stuff would have come at the end. But it was just so bland and unimaginative. And sure, she saves him in the exciting part of the story, but seriously, like. And the other episode is season 1, episode 3 of Stargate. I think it was episode 3. It's the one where Samantha Carter gets kidnapped. It's the stupid feminist frequency thing. Princess gets kidnapped and saves herself. Which was already, like, meh. Back in the 90s, back in the late 90s, it was already pretty meh. Like seriously, like, both of the worst episodes of Stargate are just, here's the chick character, and this chick character has very, 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 very bad writing. But there's still, like, all these very great things about the characters and blah, 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 and Samantha's, like, explores the world, and she's like this is amazing, that is amazing, blah, 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 sciencey talk, blah, 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 and development. But seriously, if you think about the worst parts of Stargate, like, Sam, you kissed her! Like, Sam just surprised getting a boyfriend. Whereas if it was any of the dude cast, like Daniel Jackson, like, oh, he's on this thing, he's talking to these people, here's your old flame, here's blah, 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 here's this and that, I gotta do this, and blah, blah, blah. You have, like, actual development. Oh, Teal'c, meet Lois Lane, the super hot chick who's being abused. Blah, blah, blah. Like, a coherent foundation to a relationship. Whereas Sam, even though she gets all these character development, blah, blah, blahs, who the fuck was her boyfriend? Like, what he's nice. Like, what do we know about her boyfriend? Like, seriously. It's the one bad thing about Stargate, that sometimes they just forget about properly writing some of their chick characters. But with time, of course, they fixed the Sam situation. But with Chloe, I kind of feel like, and also, yeah, a lot of the other chicks, they had their own things. But with Chloe, she's kind of defined by her relationships with everyone around her, and doesn't really have anything special about her. Like, is she good at chess? Is she good at this? Did she have a story in her childhood where this and this and this and that? And I kind of think it's sort of a consequence of the direction of the show seeming to be focused more on being political. Right? It was because it's a streaming show. It's a very early streaming show, and it's not like the same thing as SJWs, but I kind of feel like the show felt the need to criticize the military, which is why we got the whole situation with let's brainwash this country, this foreign nation, whereas this other episode back in season whatever was all about not doing that type of shit. So people think that it's kind of in another reality and not the main timeline, whatever. But fundamentally, I kind of feel like because Chloe is a rich girl living among politics, there's like not much value to her as a person. I kind of think that it's this whole inherent bias against the people in charge of the world, that they don't have a lot of substance. If someone is your political enemy, imagine them as being less substantial in their belief structure than you are. And I kind of feel like Chloe's bad development is a very, very, very early example of how politics ruins art. Or at least the bias in politics ruins art. Because we've seen what's happened after Gamergate. Like, people complained about journalists not really knowing what they're doing in their field of journalism. And those, access media hacks just labeled everyone as sexist, racist, and misogynist, even black people and women. And no, I'm not kidding. I get my news on Tolkien from a bisexual black man who got called a neo-Nazi, I think it was 2017, 2018, because he gave Gay Iceman a bad review. So I kind of feel like that hint, that like piece of poor writing, where the poor writing is, might be an indicator of what's happening, what's going on that's wrong in the industry, and what is an indicator of what shit may come. It's just something like to think about.